channel, the #1 place for VAs, social media managers, and designers who are really looking to build that standout brand online and live the laptop lifestyle. In today's video, we are going to be talking about all things building relationships in the DMs because I get asked so many questions either from clients or those in my audience on how to actually go about building those real relationships in the DMs. Specifically, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't people actually booking me? Why are they ghosting me? And how come my followers aren't actually converting into paid clients? So we're actually going to be diving into the biggest mistakes that I see so many people making when it does come to relationship building in the DMs so that you actually don't make these same mistakes. And I'll also be sharing with you my top tips to actually connect with your ideal clients, build those solid relationships, and really help you convert your followers into paying customers. Why is relationship building so dang important in business? Well, it's a really crucial part of building up that know, like, and trust factor, attracting those new clients, retaining those customers, building your brand as well as your reputation, and it's really key to networking with others within your own niche. To give you a little backstory, and I promise you this will relate, but in college, I actually interned for a car rental company, and I was not necessarily the best at sales or the best at pitching their damage waiver or whatever else insurance policies they had at the time, but I was damn good at relationship building, and that is really why clients kept coming back to me, requesting me specifically to check them into their cars, and that's really why they knew, like, and trusted me, so that when I actually did go ahead and actually recommend them X additional package, they knew that I had their best interests at heart, that I did take the time to truly get to know them, their story, why they were at our branch, and then they ended up actually buying from me. So that is truly the power of relationship building. Now, when it comes to actually building relationships, especially if you are in the early stages of your VA, social media management, or design business, you do really want to be focusing your attention on these 4 key types of relationships, and these would be your ideal customers, your clients, members of your community, as well as others within your own industry. So when you actually start to engage and you build those relationships with these 4 types of groups on Instagram, it basically signals to the algorithm, okay, these people know each other, they have some sort of relationship established, and they're actually going to be way more likely to see your content and you theirs. And the whole reason for this is really because Instagram knows that if you start engaging with another account, you're most likely interested in them and their content, and therefore you're actually going to stay on the app way longer if you see content from that specific person, which is exactly what Instagram actually wants. So by knowing this, you can really leverage Instagram as that business tool and really start to build those real, authentic relationships. Now, something that I do want to know is that there is a huge difference between actually building real relationships and just pitching yourself on Instagram. So if you're messaging somebody for the sole purpose just to pitch them, you're only really messaging them to gain something from them and not provide anything of value in return, then you're basically viewing them as just a transaction and you aren't building any kind of relationship, which is exactly what you want to avoid doing. For example, a few months ago, I actually received this DM in my inbox. Now, I've gone ahead, I've cropped out the name and the photo of this person because this is in no way meant to crap on this person. This person could be a perfectly lovely human being, but I wanted to go ahead and use it as a learning example. So as you can see from this example, they reached out to me. It actually started off pretty nice. They said how it was great to connect. They ended up sitting next to actually one of my really good friends at a cafe in Bali. They ended up getting my Instagram. They liked my content, but then they ended up immediately pitching me. Now, for some people, this message might totally work, but for me, it was a total turnoff, and I didn't actually respond because this person, A, they didn't even bother to build any semblance of a relationship with me. B, I later found out that this person had actually told my friend at the cafe that they were the ones, in fact, looking for a business coach, so that's why my friend gave my Instagram handle to them. And C, they immediately went and pitched me their services. So let's go ahead and talk about what this person could have done differently, as well as some tips that you can actually go ahead and use for your own business so that you build those real, genuine relationships in the DMs. The very first tip that I have for you is number 1, go ahead and make an authentic connection. Now, what I mean by this is go ahead and actually look look at their Instagram profile, their bio, their Instagram story, their content, etc., and really see what actually resonates with you. Maybe they actually talk about living a healthy lifestyle in their Instagram content and you also really value this. Or maybe they also love Starbucks and you do too. Or they just went on a ski vacation to, let's say, Colorado, and you've always wanted to visit. So boom, there's your connection point. Go ahead and start a conversation around this. And going back to that DM example right here, this person who messaged me could have easily leveraged the fact that they met my really good friend at a cafe in Bali and then just kept going off of that and really building that relationship from that specific connection point. Tip number 2 is to go ahead and infuse your own personality as well as brand voice, because the worst thing that you can possibly do is send a DM that really sounds like a copy and paste message, or worse, a DM script that you're just following. So both of these things are just very obvious because they do sound robotic and just not genuine at all. So for example, this DM right here, which is actually something that was sent to one of my own clients, is very obvious a copy and paste message, and the person didn't put any effort at all in actually building an authentic connection or infuse any of their personality into these messages. So really think about, okay, how would I talk to a friend over coffee? You know, would this be something that my best friend would know that it's me if they were to go ahead and read it? And does this actually showcase my own personality? Tip number 3 is to actually get to know them and provide them value, because there's not a single person in this world that actually likes to be sold to. People really do buy because they know, like, and trust the product, the brand, or the person. So when it actually comes to building relationships and sending those DMs on Instagram, you want to make sure that the person on the receiving end actually feels like you in fact care about them, their business, their passions, their interests, you know, all of these factors. And this isn't just a one-sided relationship. So truly get to know them, see where they're at in their business journey, and really ask yourself, okay, how can I go ahead and provide value to them without asking anything at all in return? Now, once you've actually gone ahead and you've built up this relationship, you truly understand who they are, where they're at in their business and their journey and all these other factors, the next step is to actually go ahead and tell them about your offer from a place of service and not sales. So when you go ahead and you strike up a conversation in the DMs and you genuinely care about the other person, their business, their life, their interests, etc., chances are they're actually going to want to go ahead and learn more about you and what you do as well. So just like in dating, when you go on a first date and you ask somebody to tell you more about themselves and maybe even about their family, most likely, especially if they're a decent human being, they're going to go ahead and ask you the same exact question. So really share with them more about you, your business, your why, you know, why you started your business in the first place, your interests, etc. And then from there, only pitch them if you genuinely think your services or your offers can actually help them. Because just like I stated earlier, people can truly pick up on if you're genuine, if you're sincere, and if you actually care about helping them go from their point A to their point B. So those are the 4 tips that I have for you to really start to build those real, genuine relationships in the DMs. So go ahead and just make sure that whenever you are sending a messages, and these are kind of some of my own best practices, that it is actually genuine. You sound like a real human being behind the screen. You go ahead and you make that connection point. You infuse your personality into it. It's actually customized to that specific person and their specific business. You're getting to know them, and you really do come from a place of service and not sales. Anyways, guys, I hope that was helpful and you now feel fully confident in sliding into those people's DMs and truly building those real relationships. And while you wait for next week's video, definitely make sure to check out these videos here, because I do dive into all things personal branding, social media marketing, and really living the laptop lifestyle. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make today count, and I'll see you in the next video.